Warning, the following video contains strong language, vulgar jokes, so if you're a parent not monitoring your children's online activities, don't say I didn't warn you.
Hello and welcome to the Freddy Fazbear Speedrun Initiative. Fazbear Entertainment is proud to officially endorse the speedrunning community, and what better way to introduce prospective runners than with a heart-pounding, adrenaline-fueled training simulation. We know that Fazbear Entertainment may have developed something of a bad reputation, and while it's true that some of our recent releases have been less well received, Security Breach, our newest title, Secrets of the Mimic, is guaranteed to restore your trust. Fazbear Entertainment cannot confirm or deny incentivized reviews. In preparation for our triumphant return, we've curated a specialized speedrunning curriculum across multiple historic titles. This will ease runners into our thrilling lineup, revenue boosting, while maintaining a smooth introduction to the world of speedrunning. Before beginning, please review and sign our simple waiver. It's standard procedure and totally unrelated to the unfortunate outcomes of previous participants. Once signed, you'll be clear to begin your personalized Fazbear speedrunning experience. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for accidental psychiatric admission, Fazbear effect, bleeding eyes, sleep paralysis, loss of time, loss of self.
Back in January, I did a video speedrunning every chapter of Poppy Playtime on console, mobile, and PC prior to the release of Chapter 4. With the upcoming release of Secrets of the Mimic, I wanted to do a similar video with FNaF. However, there's a lot more FNaF games than Poppy Playtime, which meant yes, this video took a very long time to make, and as the time of starting production on this video on April 10th, I have had about 56 runs to do in the span of 63 days, on top of recording and editing the video while getting other stuff out. So welcome to the madness that is speedrunning every Five Nights at Freddy's game on every platform. So how do I go about this? How do I even speedrun the first 4 FNaF games? Aren't they on a fixed timer? Well, first off, most of the time save stuff is on PC. Secondly, unlike my Poppy Playtime video where I recorded 2 runs to keep things aligned with different versions, thankfully I only need to run the game once in most cases, as the current mobile versions are one-to-one ports of the PC and console versions. However, there's some cases where I need to run a game twice per platform, and that comes with Help Wanted 1 and 2. While these games did launch in VR only first, later patches brought a flat mode version of the game to coincide with ports that didn't have VR. The Click Team era games for the most part have boards for PC, console, and 2 boards for iOS and Android. Sometimes more, sometimes less. As for the runs themselves, I'll be running the game in release order on 80% rules, so no night 6 and 7 here. All I have is my consoles, phone, and capture card. Will I lose my sanity during these runs too? Let's get to the runs. The original FNaF. Back when Scott Cawthon was getting bossed around by a teenager, making mediocre games, and casually creating one of the biggest horror franchises ever and the entire mascot horror genre as a whole. But what's the big deal with this game? All you do is sit on your ass for a couple hours like you normally do, finish 5 nights, and get your paycheck. Well, that's where the animatronics come in. You got this piece of shit. But of course, Bonnie, as you come back, fuck this all up. You got Chica, the Rule 34 bait of this game, Foxy the Pirate coming for your booty, and Freddy Fazbear coming for your fastballs when lights go off. The main gameplay loop really is checking the door lights for Fuckface and Chica, and keep tabs on Freddy and Foxy is not looking at them on the cameras and causing them to show up uninvited. Close the doors to make sure the animatronics don't enter the office and kill you, or kill the officer. Wait, isn't the security guard basically a rat cut? Shit. Now you're probably wondering, this game is on a timer, how the hell do you speedrun? Don't die. No, seriously, don't die. There's a couple of tricks you can do on PC that skips to the next night quicker, but apart from that, honestly, you're just playing the game. There's a reason the leaderboard only has differences of milliseconds. It's literally just play normally and pray to RNGesus he won't smite you today. Listen, I'm just going to get this right off the bat before we continue. These first 4 games are basically the same when it comes to the run. 4 is more soft on it because of the fun with plus trap thing I'll get into later, but the gist is you're waiting on a timer. Now whether you die right before the night is over is what really matters on the run, but apart from that, it's the only real time killer for these games. There's no difference on versions nowadays. Everything is based on the original PC release. The first version of the game I played was a Switch version, which took up the console slot. And apart from a few close calls, I didn't have any issues playing the game at all. I didn't even die once throughout my playthrough, which was quite surprising to me. Usually when I play the first FNaF, I die at least one time. Nope, nothing. Once you get into a loop of checking the lights, opening the camera to check on Foxy and Freddy, and then closing the doors if you need to, it's pretty simple. For the first 3 nights, as long as you have enough power, you can just shut the left door. The only problem with this, on night 3 Freddy becomes active, and if you don't check on him every so often, he will get into the office. Then there's Foxy with the aforementioned banging at the door and your mother taking away some power. The amount increases every time he hits. First hit, 1%, then 6, then 11, and the amount increases every time he does so. Overall, I didn't get the best times in the set, but it was fun to visit the original FNaF again after a while. Mobile was the fastest with a time of 45.02, console was second with a time of 45.48, and PC was the slowest with a time of 46.06. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? It's honestly surprising to see where things started. I wonder how FNaF II will go.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
Hello? Hello? Well, if you're hearing this, then chances are you've made a very poor career choice.
Well, that was a bit of a cliche trailer, wasn't it? Still surprised over the use of the action music in it, but it's whatever. So what's FNaF 2 like the speedrun? Fucking stressful. FNaF 2 adds another 6 animatronics to the picture and removes the doors. Instead, the only way to protect yourself is with a Freddy Fazbear head against 9 of the 11 animatronics. The other 2 animatronics, Foxy and the Marionette, have special means of dealing with them. Since Foxy is a crackhead, the only way to stop him killing you is giving him epilepsy. The Marionette will only be soothed by the music box playing on their camp. So here's the gameplay loop. At the start of the night, you want to focus on winding the music box. Then when you hear "Stubborn jacket!" flash the hallway. Flash each vent once and put on the head if there's an animatronic in them. Then rinse and repeat. For some animatronics, the window to put on the head is very small, namely for Wither Bonnie and Wither Chica. But the others, you have more than enough time to put it on. As for speedrunning, once again, it's just like FNaF 1 where you play through the game normally. However, FNaF 2 introduced cutscenes starting with night 2 that play in between levels. These are lengthy, but thankfully can be skipped by just closing the game and restarting. I wouldn't say there's really any real differences per platform here, as each version I ran had the same content, just different controls. I would say console would be the easiest since you can just use the bumpers for the mask and monitor, but apart from that, it's just another getting your loop going and sticking to it. My experience running the game was less than stellar though. It took me a few tries before I even got one complete run with the iOS version. The issue with this game is despite getting your loop going, it's also easy to panic because of the RNG involved with these early FNaF games. Wither Bonnie and Chica would end up ruining the runs for me most of the time because of how little time you have to react, and because of the placement and size of the mask and camera buttons, as well as the home button in case of mobile, a lot of the time the mask wouldn't activate on the first go. I also originally tried to run the console version on the Switch, which unfortunately having one for 7 years, the Joy-Cons may not be in the best condition, which led me to having to push the bumpers multiple times just to activate the mask, or the Joy-Cons will sometimes randomly disconnect. It wasn't a fun time, but I ended up buying the PS4 version to have a much easier time running it. PC was a slight pain in the ass being they had to bring up the mouse a certain amount before the mask or camera button reappeared, but it was easy to get the timing down. In old versions, anytime I died was namely to Wither Bitchface or Wither Chica, simply because the time to put on the mask is very limited. But how is that reflected in time comparison for each version? Once again, mobile was the fastest this time by 5 minutes compared to console with the times of 35.51 and 40.59 respectively. Once again, PC was the slowest with a time of 45.30, nearly 10 minutes slower than mobile, but was also a result of the amount of times I died during the run. All in all, it wasn't a horrible experience, it wasn't a great experience. I love the character and audio designs in this game, but the gameplay can be stress-inducing at times. Hopefully Scott took his time before making the next game. Holy shit, 3's already out? Alright, apparently you can play through Game Jolt. Let's start it up. Are you fucking kidding me? If there's one thing I give Scott Cawthon credit for, apart from keeping MatPat and Kyle Robinson's therapist employees, how much he likes to troll the community. With the trailer showing basically what was theorized at the time and later confirmed to be true to have the big bad of the series with Springtrap, everybody was excited for this game. With that hype, Scott decided to release the game on Game Jolt titled FNaF III. It wasn't FNaF III. Instead, it was a reskin version of one Scott's previous games named There Is No Pause Button, essentially a side-scroller runner where you had to complete 30 levels. But here comes the first change I had to make on this video. I now had to cut out the spin-offs and troll games as there wasn't enough time for me to both learn and run them on each platform they were on, and also the reason why this video is entirely blissed over with PNGs. But here we are with the actual FNaF 3. As opposed to the first 2 games pizzerias, we're now in a haunted attraction. That's not the only change to this game though. This time we're being hunted by only one animatronic, Springtrap, who recently was added to Dead by Daylight and has the funniest jump scare sound considering where the character originated from. I don't understand why they went with a raw instead of the original jump scare sound. Which WWE lineup do you prefer? How do you like taking out the bump?
He brings that pissing over, and the big surprise is the fucking bass is fucking...
While other animatronics do appear, they're only phantoms who can only hinder as opposed to killing you. Although they can get you killed if they decide to get you while Springtrap is near. This game is definitely the easiest out of the original 4 because outside of Fox messing you up, or if you can't find Springtrap, if you get him to this cam here, you can basically lock him here the entire night. As for the run, just like FNaF II, you can quit out of the game to avoid, in this case, out of night minigames. This run was the easiest for me so far. Apart from my first couple of goes, Springtrap didn't give me much trouble except for the Switch version where I died no less than 3 times. However, this is where the first achievement of this video comes. I got my first world record. Thankfully, not a lot of people will speedrun the Switch version. Shocker, right? So that left me to be the second person to speedrun this game on the Switch. Thankfully, this runner died a lot during this run, which, as long as I minimized my own deaths, I would get a world record easily. And I did. My final times for the versions were in order: PlayStation with a time of 31:39, iOS with a time of 33:33, Switch with a world record time of 45:02, and PC yet again being the slowest with a time of 46:19. With the game ending with Purple Guy getting scrapped, we get a fitting end for the series. No needless sequels, everything ends on a satisfying note, no extremely disappointing games gameplay-wise after this. What? Hello? Anyone there? Fuck.
So this game fucking broke me. Now, I never completed this game legitimately due to the fact of this game being audio-based and me not exactly having the best hearing. I get close to having a heart attack. With that, I knew I'd be dying a lot during my runs of this game. That was fine. What wasn't fine was this fat fuck. No, not me, Fredbear. This fucker was the reason I almost decided not to do a legitimate run of this game. I got used to actually listening for the breathing in this, but the issue is that Fredbear pulled a withered Captain Fuckface and their merry band Dipshits, and that you only have about a second to respond without dying. So after a week in doing tech support because my PC decided to shit itself in that time after starting this challenge, I returned to FNaF 4. There's a couple things you can do here to make this game slightly easier, and that's fun with plush trap. Mr. comes back as a little plush version of himself. You have to try to get him on an X, and that'll progress the night 2 hours. I didn't do it. You see, while there's sound cues for each time plush trap moves, like I said before, I had terrible hearing, so instead I just skipped 3 end of night mini games and plush trap altogether by playing the game and skipping the next night. The first 4 nights were actually pretty manageable as long as you dealt with Foxy, but it could get a bit nerve-wracking once the screen started dark. But as long as you get calm, you can get it. But this is where the second change to the video came. After beating this game on iPhone and PC, which were fairly fine all things considered, it broke me. Well, this and sister location. And I decided that I was only going to do 2 runs per game. One on PC and one on whichever platform I already had the run done. This game, for whatever reason, was a bitch on console. It was not fun whatsoever.
Fuck. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that was gonna fucking right. You can't.
Alright, after nearly having that heart attack from Bonnie, we're finally finished with this game. Lore-wise, the game is good, but honestly, I didn't like the gameplay. My final times were 36:01 on PC and 40:20 on mobile, and for the first time, PC beats out any of the platform. But before done, I wonder what's next in store for FNaF. Scott, why do you hate your fans? So I'm recording this at 10:47 p.m. About 2 days before this video is supposed to go live, and I realized I may have underestimated how much work this was going to be in terms of editing. So we'll have a couple videos of these split into parts, but until then, this is end of part 1 out of however many I decide to do. So make sure you come back. And just saying, if you ever want to see these runs unedited, you can check them out on Wheezy Speezy, link down in the description. I also want to shout out Tenko VA for helping voice the hand unit part in the beginning. You're a great one, does a lot of great stuff. Check them out as well, also in the description. I'll also be live streaming Secrets of the Mimic on Friday the 13th at 9 p.m. EST. Make sure to check it out. See y'all later.